Howdy, it's Uncle Paul, and I have another gear question for you this week. But first, I've got to pick up my nephew Ethan in the great little town of Cross Plains, Texas. Well, I've been making this drive from Killeen, Belton area to Abilene, going through Cross Plains for 30 years, off and on. It's been a long time since I've been through here, but it's a pretty drive. I really enjoy it. Ethan has probably been home like 2 weeks for the whole summer because he's been with family on my sister-in-law's side, just doing all kinds of different things this summer. So got school coming up in another week or so he's got to get back home. Do any of you guys out there know who this person is, what his claim to fame is? Well, he lived in that house right there. We are in Cross Plains, Texas. I don't know if there's any other famous people that are from here and who lived here, but this is the person who wrote the original Conan the Barbarian. And I think he even died. He wrote it, I think, in this house. And he died young. To me and keep your retirement and your so-called social security. Big city, turn me loose, set me free. Hey, big city, turn me loose, set me free. By the way, this bench I'm sitting on, I've put it in a previous video before, but my nephew Reagan built this in his shop class last school year, so he's very talented when it comes to woodwork. Before I talk about the new gear question, I want to thank you for all the responses that I received concerning last week's video about backpacks. Let me clarify a couple of things. I am not planning on buying a backpack until sometime next year, the 1st of next year, because I don't plan on hitting the trail until the 1st of April at Harper's Ferry next year. So I've still got time to do my research, of course. And also, I'm not positive that I'm going to buy a frameless pack. I may not buy a pack at all because I love my Osprey Exos. I really do. It is very comfortable. And the two frameless packs that I showed, those are the ones, actually I showed three, but two brands. Those are the ones I'm most interested in. I've looked at a lot of different brands, and those, for various reasons, have ranked the highest with me. And some of you mentioned, of course, a number of brands that I've looked at and would still consider, but some of you mentioned some I'd never heard of, so I will look into those as well. But one of the biggest pieces of advice that many of you gave and agreed upon was having all your gear, having all my gear all weighed and knowing exactly what it would be before I purchased another backpack. And I think that's very good advice. You remember a while back, and I had a video where I bought a scale, and it was for weighing my gear. Right after that, I weighed almost every single thing that I took on my section hike in June, and that was very interesting. But I had all that documented, and then as I get new gear, then I will continue to weigh and consider the weight, but I will use that scale. So I'll wait and do all that probably before I get another backpack, if I do buy another one. Okay, now for the new gear question. Of course, it is about the Ursack bear bag or food bag. The reason I would even consider buying something like that is because one of the chores that I hated most on the trail, all the hiking, the other hiking that I've done overnight, is hanging my food bag. Now, Steve Walker, or Big Bird, not too long ago had a very good video on how to hang your bag, and there was a lot of helpful hints in there that would make that chore a lot easier. So I do feel more comfortable already with that knowledge. But the Ursack is one of those things, for many of you will know, but it's basically a bear proof, supposedly a bear proof, and they also have one that is rodent proof as well. And you really just tie it to you have to have another bag, or you're supposed to, inside of that bag, that's supposed to seal off any odor. And I've noticed recently, I didn't know this, but they have an aluminum thing that goes inside of the bag that's to be even more protection. I understand all that adds to more weight to my base pack. So anyway, I am considering that just because of the convenience and how much I hate hanging a food bag or bear bag. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time in this video talking about the specs of the bag, because many of you already know what I'm talking about. You have an idea, you have an opinion, I'm sure. So if you would just give me your positives or negatives on the Ursack bag, I would really appreciate it. I obviously, like with all other gear myself, I have my own positive and negatives that I've thought about, but I would like to get your feedback once again. So I will put a link, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about and would like to look into it at least, I'll put a link to their website down below, and so you can go check it out for yourself. But anyway, if you would just let me know, give me your thoughts and opinions on taking one of those on a thru hike, I would very much appreciate it. Well, last weekend, my oldest nephew, Matt, went back to college in Oklahoma, and that stuff right there is what he couldn't take with him. And so the rest of the family is taking that stuff up to him this weekend. So Hurley and I are bachelors for the weekend. I thought they'd never leave.